Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Quick 60. Today I'm going to be going over my prediction for the first place team in the AFC North, which is the Cleveland Browns today. So last year they went 11-5, and a lot of people predicted the Cleveland Browns to be Super Bowl contenders, which they were, but ultimately they're going to have to keep up with the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs to be contenders. Baker Mayfield, he's entering that third season along with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. They're all vying for big contracts. I think Allen so far has impressed the most out of the three, but we'll see what happens with the contract situation. But Baker, he struggled in 2019 mightily. I think his touchdown to interception ratio was 22-21, and then it improved drastically last year in 2020. It was 26 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. So that's a huge jump, and it had a little bit to do with him, a lot to do with his offensive line. He had a stellar offensive line, much improved from 2019 to 2020. So last year they ended up getting Jack Conklin, and the first round they drafted was Jedrick Willis. So I think that they're going to be very cohesive this year, because one of the keys for the Cleveland Browns is they have all 5 offensive line starters returning from last year. So Baker, I feel like he can only get better from where he was at last year to this year with all his returning starters on the offensive line. Adding to that, this is the first year that Baker's actually going to not have to learn a new offense. He's with the same coordinator, so I think that that's going to help him tremendously this year. So some key additions, which I think were very smart additions for the Cleveland Browns. They added Clowney, so that should help, Myles Garrett on the other side as well. Myles always gets double teamed a lot if he can stay healthy. And then they also added McKinley as well, and I think that's because of Myles Garrett getting injured. So if he does get injured, they have a valuable replacement backup for him. They also added Malik Jackson, and my favorite signing was the safety John Johnson from the Rams. So I think that that's going to pay huge dividends on the back end for the Cleveland Browns this year. So some key losses were Olivier Vernon, Claiborne, Sheldon Richardson, which I think is a big loss, Kevin Johnson, Carl Joseph, the safety, and Sadejo as well. So Cleveland knows that they're going to have to keep up with the passing attack of the Chiefs as well as the Buffalo Bills to be able to keep up in the AFC. And so they drafted Northwestern corner Greg Newsome, so that should help as well. And linebacker Jeremiah Owusu, I believe. I can't pronounce it really well. And also receiver Anthony Schwartz. He's from Auburn. He can blaze. He's a burner. So we'll see if it's a home run hitter that they drafted. Also another reason why you have to love Cleveland Brown this year is because they didn't even have Odell all last season. And, Rashard Higgins, he came in and did great for his role, for what they needed him to do. But they didn't have Odell all year, and they still were successful, and still had a great record, went 11-5 last season without Odell. Now they're getting Odell back, and I'm watching videos, and he's burning on the treadmill. He's looking very healthy. He's ready to go. He's hungry. So, him on one side and Jarvis on the other side, that's going to be a dynamic duo. And then you have Chubb as well. Chubb missed, I believe, 4 games when he got injured against the Dallas Cowboys, I believe. And, they have Kareem Hunt. I mean, they have depth all over the place. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I'd say number 2 behind Tampa Bay. But, I think that they're going to be very successful this year. I have them going 12-5 this season and finishing in first place, 1 game ahead of the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm looking at the defense for the Cleveland Browns. You have Myles Garrett. I think that they're a little thin at defensive tackle if I want to be picky. Andrew Billings coming over from Cincinnati, and they're going to have Malik Jackson they picked up in place of Sheldon Richardson. So, I think that they're a little bit light on the defensive tackle side, but nothing to be worried about. They're also pretty thin at linebacker. They're pretty young at linebacker. I think Owusu needs to come up big. They have Anthony Walker, I think, starting at middle linebacker, Jacob Phillips as well, and Malcolm Smith, I believe, probably might start the other linebacker spot. But the back end is really strong. They have Denzel Ward still patrolling a corner spot, Greg Newsome, which I mentioned earlier from Northwestern, they drafted. They have Greedy Williams, LSU product, I believe, and then they signed Troy Hill from the Rams. I think he's a really good signing. He's underrated, along with John Johnson, who's not underrated. He's one of the best safeties in the NFL that they got, so that's going to be huge. Along with they still got Delpit as well from LSU, and he was injured, I believe, most of his rookie season, so he'll be back this year as well. So I mean, there's nothing to write home about. These aren't the Browns of old. Okay, they're hitting home runs on their first round draft picks now. They're getting good players. You know, they have a valuable quarterback. I'm not going to say superstar, but they have a quarterback that can manage games, that can make plays for them, and they have superstars built all around him. So there's no reason to believe that the Cleveland Browns won't succeed this year, won't make the playoffs and make a deep run. It's just, can they beat the Kansas City Chiefs? That's what I'm worried about for the Cleveland Browns. So guys, if you like my video, please subscribe down below. I'm going to start going over the AFC East next week. So I'll keep you updated on sports and predictions as well. That's Quick 60, guys. Peace.